Have you ever wondered what if some mythical sea creatures were actually real? I mean, everyone's heard stories from sailors who swore they saw something in the ocean that can't be explained. Today, I'll show you 10 sea legends that might not be myths after all. Half of them appeared in my previous videos, but the other half are brand new discoveries, so make sure to watch till the end. Number 10. Godzilla. It's a giant monster from Japan and one of the most famous creatures in the world. Standing over 90 meters tall, covered in thick scales, and able to unleash a radioactive blast, he doesn't just look terrifying. He represents the destructive power of nature when humanity provokes it. He first appeared in the 1954 Japanese film Godzilla, created as a symbol of nuclear fear after the tragedies of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan turned its pain into a story, a warning about the consequences of power humans can't control. Over time, Godzilla changed. The monster that once destroyed cities became a protector of humanity, fighting titans like Mothra, King Ghidorah, and King Kong. His spiky back, thunderous roar, and massive tail became instantly recognizable, so iconic that his roar was officially trademarked in Japan. Today, he's more than a movie character. He's a global legend. But here's the twist. Something like Godzilla actually existed. Scientists found fossils of Patagodoton majorum, a real giant over 36 meters long and as heavy as 10 elephants. So while movies turned Godzilla into a symbol of destruction, nature had already written its own version, a real-life titan that once ruled the planet. Number 9. Hydra. You remember the monster Hercules fought? That terrifying beast with many heads? That legendary creature was called the Hydra. It sounds impossible, but here's the surprise. It actually exists. But don't worry, it's not exactly the nightmare from the myth. In ancient Greek stories, the Hydra was a deadly water monster shaped like a snake, known for one terrifying trick. If you cut off one head, two grew back. Even worse, its breath was toxic enough to kill. Hercules defeated this beast during his famous 12 labors, making it one of the greatest stories ever told. The Greeks and Romans couldn't get enough of this story. It appeared everywhere, in paintings, pottery, sculptures, even coins. Clearly, this epic battle fascinated them deeply. But here's the twist. A real-life Hydra exists today. It's not huge or deadly, though. This Hydra is tiny, only about 10 millimeters long, about the size of a grain of rice. It lives underwater and catches its food using stinging arms. Here's where things get even stranger. Scientists discovered something shocking about this little creature. It might live forever. In 2015, researchers tried many ways to kill the Hydra. They failed every time. Why? Because each time, the Hydra's cells grew back, keeping it forever young. Therefore, this tiny real-life Hydra could teach scientists something amazing about living forever. Ancient myths imagined an unstoppable monster, but nature created something even more incredible, a creature that never grows old. Number 8. Jörmagundur. In Norse mythology, Jörmagundur, known as the Midgard serpent, is a colossal sea monster that encircles the entire world, biting its own tail. His name means the Great Beast, and legends say he traps humanity within his endless coils. Few beings, even among the gods, can match his terror. Jörmagundur is one of Loki's 3 children, alongside Hel and Fenrir. When the gods discovered Loki's children, they feared what these creatures might become. Odin threw Jörmagundur into the ocean, hoping he would drown, but he didn't. Instead, he grew, feeding on the sea itself until his body wrapped around the earth. The gods feared him, for his return would mean the end of all things. During the final battle of Ragnarok, the god Thor faces the serpent Jörmagundur and kills it, but its venom seeps into his body. After taking only 9 steps, Thor collapses dead beside his enemy. But maybe this myth wasn't pure fantasy. In ancient fossils, remains of a creature called Paleophis colosseus, a real sea serpent that lived 60 million years ago, have been found. It stretched nearly 50 feet, as long as 2 small school buses back to back. Ancient people who uncovered its bones might have believed they'd found proof of the legendary serpent itself. Even today, his story lives on in carvings, games, and legends, a symbol of nature's fury, and a reminder that no one, not even the gods of Norse mythology, can escape the depths of the sea. Number 7. Bloop. In 1997, a mysterious and powerful sound was detected in the Pacific Ocean. The sound, nicknamed the Bloop, traveled over vast distances, sparking theories that it originated from a colossal sea creature. For a sound of such magnitude, the creature would have to be 100 times larger than a blue whale. This speculation gave rise to the mythical modern creature called the Bloop. However, scientists later revealed that the sound was caused by melting icebergs in the Antarctic Ocean. Despite this explanation, the idea of an undiscovered giant creature isn't far-fetched. Prehistoric oceans hosted enormous species like Leedsichthys, a fish that opened its 40,000 tooth-filled mouth wide enough to resemble the mythical Bloop. Number 6. Scylla. A whirlpool on one side, a six-headed monster on the other. Could you survive that? In Greek mythology, Scylla lurked in a narrow sea channel, facing the sea-swallowing whirlpool Charybdis. Sailors who turned away from one were forced toward the other. There was no safe path, only a choice between two horrors. Scylla wasn't enormous, but she was terrifying. 6 long necks twisting from one body, each ending in a mouth full of teeth sharp enough to snap bone. She hid in her cave, waiting. Therefore, when a ship drifted too close, she struck like lightning, seizing sailors one by one. But legend says she wasn't born this way. Once, she was a beautiful nymph loved by Poseidon. His jealous wife, Amphitrite, cursed her by poisoning the spring where she bathed, turning beauty into horror. But the story doesn't end there. Homer linked it to the narrow strait near modern Messina in Italy, a place where rough seas and strange sightings were common. Sailors could have seen giant squid arms, long oarfish bodies, or odd crab-like shapes in the surf, and mixed those images into one terrifying beast. So Scylla may be less a single animal and more a memory of many real sea encounters. Number 5. Loch Ness Monster. People in Scotland have claimed for centuries to see a huge mysterious creature in Loch Ness with a long neck and a dinosaur-like body. But despite sonar scans and underwater cameras, no one has found solid proof. Therefore, most scientists think the monster is a mix of hoaxes and mistaken sightings. But millions of years ago, something very similar did exist, the plesiosaurus. It wasn't a dinosaur, but it lived at the same time. With flippers like paddles and a neck as long as a giraffe's, it ruled the oceans for 150 million years. Then, like the dinosaurs, it vanished in a mass extinction. Therefore, if Plesiosaurus went extinct so long ago, so how have people seen it in Loch Ness for over 1,500 years? The logical explanation is that someone found a plesiosaur fossil and mistook it for the Loch Ness monster. Number 4. Megalodon. 10 million years ago, a giant ruled the ocean. The Megalodon. It stretched over 80 feet long and weighed more than 140,000 pounds. Its jaws could crush a car, but its teeth were the size of a man's hand. One bite could snap a whale in half. Nothing alive could challenge it. Fossilized teeth and bones have been found across the globe, from Japan to Peru, so perfectly preserved, they almost look new. That's why some wonder, what if it's still out there? In 2012, rescuers saw a massive shadow beneath their ship, over 60 feet long, yet never identified. A decade later, researchers near Australia pulled hundreds of shark teeth from the deep, some belonging to species believed to have evolved from the megalodon itself. Scientists say it's extinct, gone for 2 million years, but stories keep surfacing. Could something ancient still be hiding in the dark? Most imagine it looked like a great white shark, but Hollywood got it wrong. The megalodon was slower, longer, and leaner, built for power, not speed. It needed nearly 2,500 pounds of food every day, which means a baby megalodon is born already capable of eating dolphins for breakfast. So what killed it? Not a monster, but competition, the great white shark. Faster and smarter, it stole megalodon's prey until the giant faded away. But we've explored less than 20% of the ocean. If something that big wanted to hide, it could. Maybe it's gone, or maybe the ocean's king still waits below. Number 3. Ningen. In the early 2000s, Japanese sailors spotted something strange swimming near Antarctica. They called it Ningen. Imagine this, a creature with long, creepy arms and a body like a mermaid. Soon photos popped up online, claiming to show this mysterious being. But sadly, most were proven fake. But here's the big question. Could a creature like the Ningen really exist today? Antarctica is huge, mysterious, and barely explored, so who knows what's hiding there? Scientists don't know for sure, but they have some surprising theories. Some experts think the Ningen could actually be a swimming sloth called Thalassocnus. Sounds weird, right? But these sloths had long arms, perfect for swimming. Their fossils are often found in Chile and Argentina, 2 countries very close to Antarctica. Another shocking theory? The Ningen might be an ancient shark called Achilolamna. This shark also had long fins, swimming silently through prehistoric oceans, just like stories describe the Ningen. However, fossil records show that Achilolamna disappeared around 66 million years ago during a huge extinction event. But here's the twist. Sharks are nature's toughest survivors. Many have lived longer than dinosaurs and global extinctions. So, what if Achilolamna didn't disappear, but adapted, hiding in the frozen shadows beneath Antarctica? No one can say for sure. But the Ningen, whatever it is, remains one of the coldest, creepiest mysteries our world has to offer. Number 2. Sea Eater Monster. monster. This isn't just a story, it's a warning. The creature they call the Sea Eater is one of the biggest, strangest things ever talked about. But describing it, that's nearly impossible. It's just too big. Some say it stands 5 kilometers tall, 4.5 wide, and stretches over 25 kilometers long. That's bigger than most cities. Others believe it's even larger. But truth is, no one really knows. The Sea Eater lives deep in the world's oceans, far from ships, far from people. But when it moves, it pulls itself through the sea, mouth wide open. It doesn't roar, it doesn't hunt, it simply swallows. Islands, ships, waves, gone. That's how it got its name. Witnesses describe a feeling of total fear, the kind that makes you freeze. People who've seen it say they felt small, like they didn't matter. Its body is covered in thick, rubbery skin, like a whale's, but somehow water flows through it, making it glide smoothly. Some ancient sailors were so shocked, they sailed straight into its mouth, staring in awe, unable to turn away. But its most terrifying feature? 2 massive arms, not made of flesh, but of bones. From sea creatures it crushed. Each arm is taller than a skyscraper. They move fast, up to 1,000 miles per hour. It uses them to drag itself across the ocean floor, or reach for whatever it wants. It's rare to see, but sometimes it gets close enough to shore for people to notice. In 1927, a woman named Evelyn Mary was sunbathing on the beach when she noticed something strange, what she called a moving mountain in the sea. She ran as it crept closer, terrified by the size and silence of the thing. In 1930, a fisherman and his father were casting nets in the deep Pacific. Suddenly, the older man saw a dark shape rising beneath their boat. Before they could react, the creature surfaced, capsizing their vessel. They were never seen again. But the scariest story? In 1862, the Sea Eater surfaced near an unknown coast. The waves it triggered reached 120 meters high. Tsunamis followed, flooding the land for over 60 years. Some people say these stories are just myths, but they keep showing up over and over again. Pirates told tales of serpents that swallowed the world. Religious texts mention the Leviathan, an underwater beast that punishes the wicked. Even Egyptian carvings show something eerily similar, a creature too big to understand, hiding below the waves. So where is it now? Most sightings come from the Pacific and Indian Oceans, rarely the Atlantic. But those who claim to have seen it believe one thing: if it shows itself, something bad is coming. It never touches land. It seems to rot in shallow water like it's allergic to it. But if it ever found a way to survive on land, the results would be catastrophic. Right now, it's been quiet, too quiet. Maybe it's sleeping, maybe it's watching, or maybe it's getting ready to rise again. Number 1. Ghost whale. For hundreds of years, whales were considered sacred in Japan, gifts from the sea, honored with prayers and burials. But one whale returned, not to bless people, but to curse them. They called it Bake Kujira, a glowing whale skeleton said to bring famine and fire. So why would a creature once loved by humans come back as a curse? Fishermen once used every part of the whale and prayed to the creator so its soul could rest in peace. But that respect disappeared when people began hunting whales for money instead of need. By the 1960s, nearly 3 million whales were gone, the beautiful songs of whales replaced by the loud noise of factory ships. During a storm near Japan's Oki Islands, fishermen saw a huge shape rise from the waves. They threw their harpoons, but the weapons passed straight through. The whale was pure bone, glowing under the rain. When it vanished, plagues and fires followed. Some say the ghost whale was born from human guilt, as if an angry spirit had risen from the sea to take revenge. In Japan, it's believed that any creature who dies unfairly or without being honored can return as a restless spirit that haunts the living. Today, as oceans grow warmer and fill with waste, Bake Kujira feels less like a legend and more like a warning. Maybe it isn't haunting Japan. Maybe it's haunting all of us. But if the Bake Kujira is a ghost born from guilt, what about the creatures that never died at all? Legends say they're still out there, hiding beneath the deepest trenches, waiting to rise again. Click here to see the next part and meet the real monsters of the ocean that science can't explain.